Hey everyone, this is Sydney. Welcome back to Wandering Roots. So the other day I made a video and unfortunately most of it got deleted. So I'm going to be going back and forth between today and the other day from the video that I had captured at that point in time. But it's going to be really cool to show you though the quick progression in my plants since then. Oh, Dahlia, she's meowing at me. I do have some plants that were not as big in my last video that got all messed up and deleted. So this is a really good opportunity to show you how things have been progressing and how big everything is. My sunflower decided to show its head today. I have my first sight of the yellow flowers that are poking out. It looks absolutely stunning. I am so impressed, so beautiful. I came home from work and I saw it and it was just a beautiful ray of sunshine after a tough day of work, just coming home and seeing that flower. It was it made me so happy. I was like, yes, I'm doing something right. My peppers are doing amazing as well. They are already putting off fruit and I left them this time, so they're looking really good. We have a few fruit on my cayenne and for my courgette. My courgette is actually doing really well, and it has this one pepper that I'm so excited for. It's already big, and if it's any indication of the size that it will get to when it's ripe, I cannot wait. I've never had this type of pepper before, I've never eaten it, so I'm really interested to see how it will taste, because this is my first time trying to grow a pepper, my first time ever, and they're growing. It's amazing. I'm so proud of myself with how well my garden has been doing, and even though it's been struggling, my cucumbers, they look really beautiful, but I'm not actually getting any cucumbers off of them, and I'm not really sure why, but this is just not my year for that, I guess. Maybe it will be later this year. Right now it just really isn't my time. But yeah, my peppers, I'm proud of my peppers. My peppers and my tomatoes. One of my tomatoes that I started from seed, it has its first fruit. I was walking around surveying all my plants the other day after, when I was home, and I walked down into one of the ones that's down on the bottom, and now I know what tomato I planted in that specific planter because of what the fruit looks like. But it's growing. It has fruit on it now. I think at least every single plant has at least one tomato, and that literally I almost cried, which was weird, but I almost cried. I was so excited. I was so happy to see that and to see how well it's doing. And I still have, I don't know if it's in the frame. No, it's not. There's this really big tomato on this cherry tomato, and I was wondering, I was doubting myself that maybe I planted a normal big sized tomato with my cherry tomatoes, because it is a monster. So I'm wondering if it was a fused blossom that I just didn't catch, or I'm not really sure what, but it looks super big, super beautiful. I'm so excited to eat it. I hope it turns out well. I hope it doesn't have anything bad happen to it before I'm able to eat it, or that prevents me from eating it, because I'm very excited to eat this tomato. I'm more excited to eat the tomatoes down below that I started from seed, because that'll be the very first time that I'm eating something that I started myself and then from seed, and then it grew. Last year when I tried to grow stuff from seed, everything died. So this year I've already learned a lot from last year to apply for this go around this time, and things are doing really good. And it's just, I put a lot of work into this garden, and a lot of people have been noticing and telling me how good it looks, which is just kind of it's not I do it for people to tell me oh, it looks great, but it's kind of cool to hear people be oh, your garden looks so pretty, and I'm just oh, thank you. I'm only out here 4 hours every single day, which maybe if I had a bigger garden wouldn't be a big deal, but for a patio garden, I sit in this chair and I just watch all my plants for hours. They don't do anything, but I sit out here and I watch them. Sometimes I'll watch the leaves curl and turn, and it just looks really cool just to watch everything and see how they progress and what they do on reacting to the sun and all the elements. The one plant that I do have that I think is having a really hard time with the sun is my cucumber. I did have a cardboard that was like up top on the wooden trellises that I have, like my stakes, but I took it down earlier today. I might put it back up later today, but I took it down earlier because the wind was just blowing it and it keeps falling down, and like it does its job protecting my cucumbers from the sun because I'm pretty sure they were getting sunburnt and the leaves kind of look like crap, but they look better now that I've had that up there. But it keeps falling and I'm worried one of these days it's gonna like snap off on my cucumber and just like break it and damage it, and then I won't have like my cucumber will just be like topped off and I won't have any, like it won't grow anymore. So I took it off earlier. The wind was getting pretty intense and I didn't want it to damage the plant in any way, but the sun hasn't been that intense today, even though it was like 95 today, but the sun wasn't that bad. It was kind of cloudy, so I took it off to give the trellis stakes like a break from it. But yeah, everything's been going really well. Everything's growing really well. My green beans kind of look like poo, but they're struggling for their lives. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, besides maybe I put too many into the container, but I don't think they like the South Dakota sun because even the new ones that I planted are looking a little bit toasty. So I might have to try to move it more into shade or something. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna move it around, I think, and see if it likes other areas of my porch more than the area that it's at right now. One thing that I've been doing recently, which has been kind of out of my norm that I normally would do, is I've actually been going out to the Black Hills and I've been harvesting wild bergamot. Now, I didn't know last year and like the year before living here what this flower was and like how beneficial it was for you, but I've been trying to look into making like homemade Earl Grey tea, and it showed up as like a way to make it. Most people said like you want to use like the citrus, like orange bergamot plant, but obviously I don't have access to that where I'm living right now. So other people said you could substitute it for wild bergamot. You just have to like add in a citrus component. So what I have been doing, and it's really exciting, is I have been going out to the not the Badlands. I'm going out to the Black Hills, and I've been harvesting this wild bergamot to make into tea. And I made my first cup of tea today. I haven't tried it yet. It's sitting right here next to me, but in it I put my wild bergamot petals. I put some of the leaves that I harvested from the bergamot. I put chocolate mint that I grew myself, and I put up orange peels that I bought the oranges from the store, and when I was eating the oranges I just peeled them and then I just harvested the orange peels so I could make tea later on as my citrus factor like component. So I mixed all of that into my teapot, and this is my result. So this is my cup of my homemade Earl Grey tea. It doesn't smell the same as like Earl Grey, but even though it's not exactly the same, I'm calling this my bergamot tea. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Bergamot? There's not an A. Bergamot. My bergamot tea. Here we go. That's actually really good. I really like that I used my mint because it's coming through really powerful. I do think I should have used more bergamot petals, but it's actually really strong. Maybe I didn't need more of the petals. It's like kind of delayed. It tastes really good though. I don't know how to describe the flavor. It doesn't taste like Earl Grey, but it's not bad. It's just very different than what I was anticipating. I added a little bit of honey that I got from the local farmer's market a while ago. So I got it from a gentleman who has his own bees, but I added some honey and that was all I added. I didn't want to add in too much stuff because I didn't want to take away from the natural flavor that I would be getting from all of the like the flowers and leaves and like the orange. But it's really good. It's very minty, which I've never I have actually never drank or like I've never made tea out of my own mint. So this is my first time doing that as well, and it's I'm actually really, I love it. It's really, really good. The more I drink it, the more I can taste the bergamot. The first initial drink, all I could taste was the mint. But the more I'm drinking it, the more I can taste the bergamot. It tastes just like it smells. It doesn't taste bad because I love how it smells. It's very unique in flavor though. But it has like a delayed flavor to it too. So it's like, even as I'm talking that, and like, it's just changing the way it tastes. It's really good. I really like it. I think it would be good with a little bit, I like to put milk in my tea and a little bit of sugar. I didn't do that for this because I was trying to keep it as natural as possible. But I think it would be amazing with some sugar and a little bit of milk. So here's my cucumber. It is looking really, really good. It's super, super tall now. It's already up to the railing. I think it maybe has 2.5 more feet before it's up to the top of that. This one over here is doing really good. You can see that it did get a bit scorched from the sun, and a lot of the leaves under aren't looking super great. I really need to come through here and clip off a lot of them. These new cucumbers over here are looking really beautiful. This one keeps wanting to fall to the side. I keep trying to convince it to not go that direction, but it's proving to be difficult with this guy. But yeah, that's the way I want him to go, is up that way with the other one, because I have 2 more over there. But of course it'll do what it wants. But they look really, really good. This one finally hit the top of this trellis. I'm super impressed by that. These ones grew fast as heck, these two. And this little one down here doesn't get as much sun, so it's not quite as tall. But all of them overall, they look really, really good. So down here in this jungle is my Kurabachi plant that is doing amazing compared to all the other pepper plants that I have. And down here is my very first pepper that started on any of the plants. This is the very first one. It's not the only one now, but it was the first. This is definitely my pride and joy plant right here. It's doing so freaking good. There's another, it looks like it wants to start. I don't know how well it's doing. There's a few of them that look like they wanted to start peppers. They just didn't quite do anything in regards to wanting to start, except for my little babes down there. It's looking so good. But I have a few more up top that look like they kind of want to do something, but I guess we'll see. If I only get one from this, I only get one, but it looks absolutely beautiful. Here's my cayenne. My cayenne's doing really well. It is already put off some fruit. Here's one. Oh no, an aphid. Squish. There's one. Here's the second one, and then I have a third one back here. It's looking really good. I'm so excited. Obviously, I need to come out here and kill off some of these gosh dang aphids because I didn't even know that they made their way over here yet. Of course they did. You stop picking aphids off for like one day and they spread across everything, but that's what I'll be doing later tonight, apparently, is picking off aphids. I've never seen any on my tomato plants, but not to say there isn't any on there. I just haven't found any yet. They're doing really good, my tomato plants are. Here is my mint plant that I harvest from. This is what helped make my tea that I drank earlier. I've harvested from this plant in particular for like over a year now. I overwinter it by keeping it inside underneath a light, and made a comeback. It's a little bit thinner now than what it was before. I've recently, as you can see, I've harvested some of the leaves from this plant. So I'm excited to be utilizing this again to make more tea. I'm not really sure why, but this back one does look a little bit more sad than the front two. I don't really know exactly why, but it does. It's not as thick, like it doesn't have as much foliage, which I mean I have been pruning them all pretty heavy, but I don't understand. It's just not given as much plant as the other two. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's just not as much. So I don't know if maybe I pruned it a little too hard or what. Like, it's not dead or dying or anything, but the other two are just like, as you can tell, like I don't have much sun on my face right now because this is a really good spot to sit, to not have the glare of the sun, because my plants are just so thick right through here. Like if I mess with it, you can see that like I'll get hit in the face with some sun, because I'm moving the limbs and stuff. But I don't know, the front two are just a lot more like bushier, and they're just giving off a lot more foliage, which is pretty cool. So I've decided to stop pulling off the suckers from my tomato plants moving forward. I have decided that they have really good airflow right now, and that it's just a lot of effort going through and like every day trying to pull off the suckers, or like every other day to pull off the suckers so they don't get unmanageable. Because I have been missing a few, and then they just get really big, and then I kind of kick myself. But I'm interested to see what happens with leaving the suckers on moving forward. I have heard that fruit doesn't grow on suckers, but I've been seeing that that's not true, because I don't know if it's because of like the different varieties in the tomato plants as to if that could be a factor, but I have been seeing in a few of my tomato plants, suckers that I have missed are actually giving me like flowers that will turn into fruit later. So I'm kind of wondering if any of those suckers that maybe I wouldn't have pulled off earlier could have given me fruit like later. So from right now, I just want to see what happens with me not pulling the suckers, and then maybe next year I'll just prune it heavier and see what happens then. But this year I've decided to stop for now, because I just want to see what happens, kind of thing. So hopefully moving forward, these suckers will give me fruit. And I've been trying to propagate some of the suckers that I have pulled previous, to see if I can get them to give me a root system so that I can replant them, and maybe, I know it's pretty late in the season, but see if they will grow, or like grow and give me fruit, or just grow in general. I've never tried to propagate a sucker before, because honestly last year I didn't even know what they were. It's something that I've learned as of this year, so I'm hoping to see if I can do it. And if not, next year I'm definitely gonna try, because just for like experimentation purposes, I want to see what happens. I think it's really cool to try and experiment and like see what works and like what doesn't work. So I'm really looking forward to what will happen with those suckers, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, with me pulling the suckers off of my plants, what I can maybe get. Now in here you can see I have some more tomatoes growing. That's a very beautiful sight. Those are new. I didn't see those the other day. And that's on my middle tomato plant here that I have in my cages. Here's that big tomato that I was talking about before. I'm so excited to eat it. It's just growing fast as heck compared to all the others. Now this one over here isn't getting to a good size, but that one is just a monster. I'm hoping that it will continue to develop appropriately and continues to be edible. I don't have high hopes that all of them will make it, but I'm hoping that that one does, because that was like the very first tomato that appeared at all compared to any of my other, like on any of my plants. This is the very first tomato, so I'm hoping to eat it and savor all of the fruits of my labor. Now this tomato plant has quite a bit of flowering going on, but I don't see any of the flowers turning to fruit yet. This is my third one down, but yeah, I don't see any tomatoes in it yet, but I do see lots of flowers. That's an encouraging sight. Here is my ground cherry. It has absolutely flourished, even with all the ants that keep attacking it and trying to make it their home. I'm out here almost every day trying to make sure this thing is fine and trying to get like all the aphids off of it that I can. I'm out here squishing them all the time. It's ridiculous how much aphids like this thing. There are my green beans. They're looking sad as ever. They're alive. They're just looking sad as heck. I'm hoping that they'll grow and prove me wrong, but I might have to just try growing them in the fall or something. I don't know if I'll have enough time at that point, but I may just have to aim for that, because they're not doing well in the summer here. Now here are all of my peppers that I have. They're all doing really good. This is actually the one that got eaten by that gosh dang caterpillar, and it's starting to put off a few things of fruit up here. Hopefully they actually develop into fruit. That'd be really exciting to see. These other ones are doing okay. I'm always consistently battling aphids with these as well. I don't know why, but aphids love these two peppers in particular in this one pot. I don't know what it is, but if I find aphids on any of these peppers, it's always these two. Now if you see, it looks like it's developing a fruit right there. That is a dead leaf. Of course, the sun here be roasting all my leaves, but they're looking really, really good. This pepper, I don't know why this one looks so gosh dang sad. I still can't figure out what was eating the leaves. I've come out here all the time, like every day, looking for a worm to see if that's like who the culprit is, and I can't seem to find anything that explains why this plant is struggling as bad as it is, but it just is not doing well. So I don't know if you can see them because they are very, very small. There are some aphids on this, so I'm gonna squish them. And they really love this pepper plant. I don't know why, but they do. And I feel like I'm out here every day. Like I said, it's a chore every day. I'm out here just squishing them. So they really love all of these peppers. And so this is the pepper that actually got destroyed by that stupid worm that I found in a storm the other day. Well, like more like a few weeks ago. So this poor pepper plant is trying to make a recovery right now. It's been growing really well, but it's just been struggling, I think, because of getting demolished by that stupid worm. Now here's my blueberry bush. It's doing surprisingly well. It's surviving decent. I wouldn't say that it's thriving by any means because, again, these leaves up here, I think it just got too sunburned. But if you see, a lot of the fruit on this blueberry is actually ripening, and we're getting a whole bunch of blueberries from this. Both myself and my husband have been reaping the rewards in regards to blueberries. They're doing amazing and fantastic, and they taste better than any blueberry I've ever had in the store. And I don't know if I'm biased because I grew them, but they're amazing. Look how beautiful that blueberry is. Flippin' gorgeous. I'm obsessed with how great this looks. I cannot wait to eat it. This is a good example of one of the many ripe blueberries that I've been getting from this wonderful plant. Now here we have the peppers that should be growing into hot peppers, like ghost peppers. These are my buttes. They're supposed to be super hot and very intense to eat. That's why I'm growing them. It's for my husband because he really loves hot peppers on everything. So he's excited. This one's doing really good. This one's struggling for its life. I don't know what happened. I think a bug might have eaten the top, but it looks like it's starting to grow back. Here is my favorite plant in my whole entire patio garden. It is my borage. My borage is doing super well, and it's been putting off lots of flowers lately. Within the last few days, I've been very happy with this. It's quickly become my favorite. I even just bought a necklace that had a borage on it, like in it. So this has been a very beautiful plant to grow, and I'm so happy that I grew it. I've learned a lot from this plant. I've learned a lot that it can withstand. It's been doing really well against the crappy weather here in South Dakota. So I have high confidence that in the upcoming years I will continue to grow borage because it's been an absolute pleasure to have in my garden. As you can see here, my strawberries are all dead. I don't have any confidence of anything attempting to grow in this. I still water it just to see, but I decided to put it out in full sun because I figured if anything does try to grow, I would like it to be acclimated to how warm and sunny it is here, because apparently strawberries love the sun. I don't think they love my sun. Here is my planter with all my bergamot or bee balm. It's doing amazing. I don't honestly know what this is because this is definitely not bergamot, but I don't know if it's something I planted last year because it is everywhere in here, absolutely everywhere. So I don't know what it is, but I'm hoping it's some sort of plant that I can use, but I don't honestly know. But it looks really interesting. I don't know if it's just weeds that have fallen in here or what. I can tell this looks like a bee balm that I tried to start from seed. And I have a few of them in here that look like bee balm. That's a weed. Gosh dang it. Like bee balm I've tried to start from seed. There's only like 2 or 3. Like right here is one. And like maybe right in here could be bee balm or bergamot that I tried to start from seed. But that one's still struggling because it's in the sun. And that one's still struggling because it's in the sun. But all my other ones that are supposed to be more sunproof are doing really well. I'm very pleased. But I'm gonna go through, gonna get this weed as much as I possibly can. There it is. Stinking weeds. Push the dirt back a little. Try not to damage anything that's in here. Also, I don't know what this is either, but this is uniquely itself. I have no idea what it is. It's some sort of vine. I don't remember what I planted in here last year to know what this could be. It's the only one that's growing in here. So I have no idea if I plucked out all the other ones of it or what, but it is uniquely itself. I try to encourage it to go around my bee balm, but of course with the sun, it just kind of does what it wants. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time, guys. Bye. Thank you.